Our Farm is a St Peter's School and Lincoln University demonstration farm that aims to showcase best practice to Waikato and Bay of Plenty farmers. It's been set up to emulate Lincoln University's demonstration farm. John Fegan is a graduate of Lincoln and chair of the farm's governance committee.
I've always been of the belief, ever since the Ruakura days have stopped, that there's been a lack of focus for the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty dairy farmers. And in my day job as a recruitment consultant, I see and I hear a lot of the Canterbury farmers raving about what the Lincoln University farm does, and they talk about they just follow the Lincoln system. There is an opportunity, I think, for the same thing up here, and so unashamedly we wanted to copy what the Lincoln University demonstration farm has been doing. Over the last 3 or 4 years, the farm has gradually sort of become more and more important and focused for the whole school rather than just being something out the back. So the idea, guys, is that the clover is going to fix the nitrogen for this ryegrass, but it appears that we're really lacking in clover in this paddock. And we want a profitable dairy farm that is also sustainable, and it's sustainable from an environmental perspective, from a profit perspective, from a people perspective, and from a health and safety perspective. It takes a reading every time, and then it averages out at the end. See, that's 2100 there. If you go somewhere it's a bit shorter, that'll be lower. See, 1900. Half of our students have come from homes where there's a rural delivery address, and so it's very relevant straight away for 50% of our client base. We also have several projects which are community involved. So we have a swimming pool, we have the Avantidrome, which brings in the community into the school. This also provides the opportunity to do that with the cycleway going right past, in fact right through the middle of the farm. There's over 80,000 people a year now using this cycleway and going through the middle of our farms, an opportunity for us to engage with them and perhaps try and reduce that urban-rural divide that seems to have developed over the last 20 years. We hope to be able to have what I would call digital signboards. And so, for example, when the cows are in, for example, this paddock beside the cycleway, and it might be at mating time, so they'll have tail paint on them, then we can have the digital signboard in here explaining what all that means and why it's important for the cows to get pregnant again. Or if we had a crop in here, we can talk about what that is and why we're doing it. And so it can be very relevant to people. The advantage of it being a walkway and cycleway is we've got more time because they're not going as fast as when you're a car. So we actually have a reasonable amount of time to be able to engage with them and to hopefully educate them slightly. The farm is completely transparent. So all our financial information, all our physical data is put up onto the Our Farm website. We send out the notes of what's happening on the farm every week to the people that are subscribing. And so we're completely transparent about what we're doing here. One of the downsides of trying to do this over the last 3 years is that we need money, and not an insignificant amount of money to run it as a demonstration farm. We targeted 7 companies who we felt were relevant for us and who could add value for us and the farming community locally. Absolutely astounded and impressed that not one of them said no. And they've committed to 5 years, so they've committed for a long time and not an insignificant amount of money. So far they are just been very, very helpful in helping us get to where we want, but they're also very supportive in what we're trying to achieve in the big picture.
We have 150 effective dairy hectares, about sort of 180 dairy hectares all up. We've got quite a bit of planted areas now. Milking 430. We probably winter about 440, 445, but peak milking is about 430. Milk solid production is between 190 and 200,000 kgs of milk solid. We've got a real mix here of sort of soil types. We've got some really high risk sort of heavier soils, some lighter soils. So we've got some soils that hang on quite well in summer, but then don't do so well in winter, and vice versa. So we've got a pretty good mixed bag when it comes to the soil types on the farm as well. Our nitrogen, what we put on through fertilisers, is 150 kgs. We bring in a little bit of imported feed, but we've got a nitrogen leaching of about 30 kgs of nitrogen per hectare. But we're obviously looking to significantly improve our environmental impact here in the future to ensure that we can become a sustainable, profitable farm. One of the things that we're looking at doing at the moment is actually building a constructed treatment wetland, which is designed for the purpose of intercepting shallow groundwater. So it's basically a certain depth, width. The plants are a certain type that absorb the nitrate and emit them to the atmosphere in a non-toxic gas. And then hopefully, the theory is discharging a much cleaner water to the Waikato River. So if this works as a treatment option, it's going to be really good for a lot of farmers in terms of different options they've got available to manage their environmental impact. Our main objective is to apply proven research, and we want to do that utilising good on-farm practice to sort of prove, hopefully, that we can provide a working model of a profitable, sustainable farm which encompasses all of the aspects around health and safety, HR. We want dairying to be attractive to people coming in, and obviously with the educational side, we want students to see a bit of a future in the agricultural and dairy sector, so that's really important. We're very fortunate with a lot of the crossover of subjects that we've got at the school. So we've started working obviously with agriculture and horticulture. They do a lot of practical exercises on the farm, but there's also a lot of opportunities for your geography around sustainability, biology around biodiversity, chemistry around water quality, even looking at getting the photography class down here to try and capture some more positive images around dairying so that we can try and actually start creating a more positive sort of feeling around dairy. So we're working really closely with the school. We're trying to work a lot closely with the community as well. We're going to have community planting days coming up with our constructed wetland, whereby members of the community will come in and help us plant. We want to have open days for all the members of the public in the future here as well. We are working with accounting, economics and business studies as well. There's a huge amount of overlap of where there is some really practical sort of examples that we can use from the dairy industry to really support some of the learning outcomes that they're trying to achieve. So certainly with the subjects that are on offer here and the opportunity with the farm to be able to engage and interact with those classes to provide some really practical examples to what they're learning in class is absolutely important. And I think agri managers, fertiliser reps, there's a huge sector that supports the dairy industry, which there's a lot of value to be added from actually practically understanding some of this stuff as well.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.